pregnancy deal number 1, we had, if it's a girl, it's Geelong. If it's a boy, it's Collingwood. Lucky enough for me, the first one was a girl, which was great.
When the teams verse each other, it's definitely really, really tense.
It's a real war game, isn't it? Family war comes out. Yeah, like we are literally enemies that day.
Still don't believe Brisbane played the better game. They were just beaten by a poorer side. They just beat a poorer side on the day. If we had played a decent game, we would have beaten them.
You're just in denial.
I mostly know who's going to win because I won't say one team's good, one team's not so good.
Wow, you're being very nice there, Asha.
But I definitely wanted to ask you, Mum, the story behind these caricatures. On the wall. Come and tell the story.
Yeah, we had an invite to go into the old George's shop in the city, in Collins Street, and they had a caricaturist. So we thought, well, this would be great, we could get your children done.
Andrea is precise, scientific.
I'd say the most like Mum and Dad.
Methodical.
Andrea, clumsy.
I think also maybe the most immovable.
I'd say immovable.
Danielle, I would say she's a zagger. You zag.
You've got insight.
You blaze your own trail.
You are individual.
Stuart is, I'd say, disciplined.
Right. Stuart is fair. Stuart is passionate.
Stuart is easygoing.
He's always been a popular boy, man.
You, Lachlan, are extremely friendly, and that I really mean, not everyone's friendly.
Lachlan, I would say intelligent.
Lachlan is generous.
Lachlan is considerate and caring. What else did I write there?
Determined.
Oh, determined. That's what you want to do. Oh, gosh. No,
So you need to switch places. No, actually, you're doing pretty well.
I think in this house, footy and family have always been, hand in hand.
I guess for me, it's a living in London. It's a connection back to home, certainly.
Growing up, going to the footy was the event of the weekend, and that was because it was the event of Dad's weekend.
Because it's not on.
Sorry.
Well, just wear a hat.
The football interests certainly came through Dad.
Yeah, Dad was a massive influence. We would go to the footy and, that's when you kind of had that bonding time, you'd catch up and everything.
Stuart was really good at the footy. Lachlan, not quite.
I guess Mum and Dad have not been kind about my skill set.
Lachlan.
He passed that on to us, that passion and enthusiasm. Was it important that we all followed the demons?
Well, it was the right thing to do. That's a family thing.
It was a birthright being a Melbourne supporter. There's never a choice about which team to go for.
There wasn't any other team. It was demons.
It was a bit like joining a cult. That's what had happened 40 odd years ago. And I was still in that cult.
Cuts down the number of fights that you have in the house if you're all supporting the same team.
Took her to a Collingwood game, get her face painted, had a jumper and everything like that. And then a few months later, I come home and the Collingwood jumper's in the bin from the youngest. So I don't barrack for Collingwood no more.
Because
I pulled the jumper out of the bin. I go, what are you doing throwing it in the bin?
I may have videoed it. That was a bit of fun.
Did.
Took photos, got the video.
So, yeah.
Magic moment in history.
So I lost one from the team. So I inherited the dog. So one of the dogs was black and white. So.
Well, how would you describe what happened around 1994?
I think that was a very disappointing year.
So I made the decision in my head, privately, that I wanted to go to the games with my friend. And so I announced to Dad and to the wider family that I am now an Essendon supporter.
Obviously the rest of the family weren't thrilled about it.
Yeah, that's treason.
It broke Dad's heart. I know it did.
Disappointed, yes, that you turned your back on the family team.
They just were in disbelief and they were probably asking you why.
What had I done to contribute to this? Where had we failed as a family?
The way Stuart reacted, it would have been a bit of disgust.
I think disgust is also a very apt word.
And also, Essendon were good. They were a good team. Melbourne, you know.
Mind you, could have been worse. Could have been going for Collingwood.
I don't think I understood the gravity of the decision, to be honest. I mean, how can you as an 8-year-old?
It's AFL Saturday action, and we've got Essendon and Melbourne this afternoon, the battle of two of the co-tenants here.
Melbourne was playing Essendon like the week after I switched. Perfect. I got the scarf, I got the beanie, loved my beanie. We were going to win. And as the game got closer to that final quarter, and Bombers were behind, my heart was sinking. I was starting to think, have I made a big mistake?
Melbourne won and you just burst into tears.
I was devastated.
And I just thought, poetic justice.
At the end of the game, he came to the back of the cheer squad. My mum and sister, we walked up to go meet him, and he had the football at the time
I piffed it at him.
He threw it at me, but it didn't hit me.
It actually hit my sister.
And he just decided that he was going to go home on his own.
Yeah. Stormed out of Marvel Stadium and tried to get the first train home. So trying to get some space, you know, because I knew that he would start. I mean.
It's the countdown to the AFL Grand Final for season 2000.
Bombers haven't had their name on it since 93, and, the D's, not for a long time, 64.
The 2000 Grand Final was everything to us.
It was a hotbed of tension and excitement in the Baynes household.
There was a push and pull between Essendon and Melbourne. You know, there was you on one side, Stuart on the other.
It was the ultimate showdown in this household.
Yeah, let the games commence.
This kind of came to a head one evening when I was having a bath.
I can get Lachlan.
I'm there and alone. I see the door creak open, and there you are, interrupting my bath time, trying to seduce me to the...
Maybe don't use the word seduce when we're talking about you being in the bath and me
Good
coming
point.
in.
The door opens and you pop your head in. You won't leave. You won't get out of the room unless I agree to go for the Bombers. You won't take no for an answer. And so for a brief moment, I supported the Bombers.
Stuart wouldn't have a bar of it. At the first inkling that I would try and recruit you to the Bombers, Stuart swooped in.
The door opens again and Stuart comes in. He's telling me how disappointed Dad will be, how disappointed he will be.
Look, we had to try anything to stop it becoming, stop the disease rippling through the family, the Bombers disease rippling through.
I said yes, and I reverted back to the family colours.
Lachlan probably just wanted to play with his rubber ducky and have a bit of a splish splash.
The war that starts for us as a family, we don't sit together. They will sit in front of the Sydney supporters and we'll sit in behind them, or vice versa, the Sydney supporters will sit in front. We don't sit in the same row, we don't sit, because we're not together. We're not, just no.
And then there's the jabby comments, like the little comments here and there about the other team or the other supporters, for example. And then that'll just rile everyone up even more, I think. So not only does it become about football, but then everything else is brought in just to kind of amp it up a bit more, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an us and them situation.
Welcome to the Melbourne Cricket Ground, the home of AFL. On this great day in Australian sport, we welcome viewers around the world. It's time now for the pre-match ceremony. Sit back and enjoy.
On Grand Final day, we had this idea of decorating the front fence with streamers, covering the fence pickets. I remember just holding my red and black streamers and realising that I was completely outnumbered.
Me and Andrea and Lachlan, we obviously needed some space, and then obviously you're just one person, so we'll shift you down to the end post. I think that's very fair.
Well, I actually think Dad was very generous to give you any part of the fence to decorate.
The moment has arrived. It is grand final day, and here's the first...
My only memory of the game is the beginning. David Neitz marks on the goal line. And has a chance to kick the first goal.
The captain maybe to kick the first goal. Look at the angle. He'll probably try check side. He'll probably try and improve. He kicks with the left and hits the post.
And he hits the post, and then the rest of the game is a blank for me.
That was the ultimate game to solidify the Bombers' supremacy. My little section of red and black streamers were basically glowing, and the red and the blue ones were just sad, limp losers. I rubbed it in everyone's faces. No humility.
Yeah, we didn't hear the end of it, that's for sure.
We actually took one of our friends' kids to a game, North Melbourne and Hawthorn. And he was wearing the North Melbourne jersey, but when he knew that Hawthorn was going to beat us, he put the jumper over to cover up North Melbourne and started wearing the kid's scarf, the Hawthorn scarf. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you traitor. So fickle.
Now as an adult, I'm realising that I am craving that bond again with the family, with the Demons.
I mean, this is really looming large over your work desk.
Yes, that's an important time in history.
You just gaze up at it as you're throughout the day and just get a warm glow.
For inspiration. Well, it certainly felt fantastic. And
maybe to start winning that premiership.
Yeah. Winning the premiership after so many years felt fantastic.
Joy, but relief.
Once the final siren hit, sharing that little family WhatsApp video call.
It was all of us on that call, and I was right there with everyone, united as a family.
You were happy despite not being a Melbourne supporter?
Even you having that history, you could see that what it meant for all of us.
Stuart has requested that for my grandson, we take over Demons football for him to practice and learn his kicking and handball skills.
Oh my gosh.
Demons is continuing as a legacy, and we've got another generation in our family, and the team has been passed on.
Now stay and take grandkids to the footy.
I certainly want my son to follow in my footsteps and follow the D's.
It naturally arose that they've gone from Melbourne.
And what does that mean to you, going to the footy with the grandkids?
Well, again, it's a generational thing, and it's fantastic. You see renewal happening.
I've had a child. I want him to be a Demon supporter because I want him to have that legacy with Dad and his uncles and aunties and his cousins. So much so that I even got him a commemorative birth certificate.
But it's good to see that he's not following his mother and he's going back to his family roots.
He'll probably just become an Essendon supporter.
Yeah, oh gosh.
It's a bonding and a relationship building thing that happens in a family, and you witness that when you go to the football. You see these family groups and they're all very passionate.
I think footy means different things to many different people. Footy for me is always about family.
That special part of the weekend is carved out for you to just spend time together.
The reason you kind of follow sport is you want to have this collective experience with your friends and your family. My wife continuously, says, "Can't he go for a good team like Collingwood?" And I said no. If that is his wish, I'll still take him to the games with gritted teeth. Or I'll just hope the phase will pass.